Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Breed softball field where your very own St. Mary's Spartans are facing off against Archbishop Williams. Here on this late April evening, got our crew from Classical up in the stands. Is Eswin. He'll be working on the solo tonight, bringing you these smooth and steady shots. I'm your commentator, Sean Donahue from Lynn Educational Television. Happy to bring you CCL softball. First one of the year that we've been able to cover. The field conditions down here at Breed have been tough. Teams have been switching home games versus away games for later on in the season. Last game that we missed was a mess up on Mr. Donahue's end, but it was a win versus Gloucester, 11-7. So they were able to find redemption in their first matchup versus these guys. They ended up with a loss. Next game is going to be against their Archbishop, their arch rivals, Bishop Fenwick, Saturday, 2 p.m. If you're interested in coming down, you'll have Mr. Hoffman covering that one for you because I got my kid up in T-ball. So we're going to try to teach him all about the baseball tradition here in the United States. And anyway, I wasn't really ready to go into that one. Let's talk about records. St. Mary's right now standing at an overall record of 5 wins, 4 losses. The last game, like we mentioned before, an 11-7 victory over Gloucester. Next game versus Fenwick, 2 p.m. Williams coming into this one with a record of 6-4 overall record, and 3-4 in the CCL. Last game versus Bishop Fee in a 10-2 victory. Next game is Friday night at Archbishop Williams versus Braintree. Starting lineup for the St. Mary's Spartans. DeCessa will be playing in the shortstop position. Playing in the second base position is Walsh. Playing in the first base position is Williams. Playing in the catcher position is Braid. Playing in left field, Mahoney. Your designated player will be Morgan. Playing in right field is Souza. Playing at third base is Napoli. Playing in center field is Oumi. And on the mound tonight will be Crean Oviedo. Starting lineup for Archbishop Williams. Playing in the position of pitching, McMenamin. Kelly in the shortstop position. Parr at the third base position. McLeish in center field. Whitney at the catching position. Designated player Ianatoja. Giglio will be in the second base position. Playing in right field will be Putnam. Caruso in left field. And the flex player at the first base position is Kelly. Oviedo on the mound. Starting off for Williams is McMenamin. Pitcher versus pitcher. Short choppy ground ball along the third baseline. That one goes foul. Green Oviedo gets the call. Ground ball over to the second baseman out of St. Mary's for a quick, easy out. Good heads-up play by Walsh to get in front of it. Next up to bat for Williams is going to be Kelly. Kelly playing in the shortstop position today. Starting to get warmer. Some of these April games can be a little bit more crisp than we expect. Green Oviedo delivers the pitch. Nice ground ball. Gets past the shortstop out of St. Mary's. That one goes into left field. And Kelly gets her first base hit of the day. Parr, the next batter up out of Archbishop Williams. That one a little bit too much steam on it for DeCessa. Goes into left field, and they hold the runner up at first. Green Oviedo gets the call, the delivery, right where she wants it, strike call. So one out, one on for Williams. Parr playing in the third base position today. That one a little bit low for the blue. Braid in the catching position for Crean Oviedo. Drives it down. Ball call there. Just a bit inside. The pitch, strike call. Two and two call here for Parr. Parr waits the pitch. Braid gets the call to Crean Oviedo. And a 3-3 count results in a walk. So 1 out, 2 on, 1 in scoring position. Next up to bat, McLeish. Out of Archbishop Williams, McLeish will be playing in the center field position today. Ball call there. The pitch from Crean Oviedo. Strike, 1-1 count. Crean Oviedo delivers. 1-2 count. Two on, 1 out. Kelly at second. And Parr at first. Crean Oviedo delivers and catches her swinging. First strikeout of the day. So McLeish goes down swinging. 2 outs, 2 on. Whitney, the catcher, the next one up to bat for the Bishops. Crean Oviedo delivers. Braid sending a message over to Parr. Get back on a bag. Braid gets the call to Crean Oviedo. The delivery. Strike call. No lead from either base runner. Second pitch. Not really where Crean Oviedo wanted it. Whitney congratulated on the ability to see balls and strikes. And gets caught looking on the third. Second strikeout of the day for Crean Oviedo. Good start for the Spartans at the end of the top of the first. We're finishing the same way we started, 0-0. We'll be back with the bottom of the second. Bottom of the first. Welcome back, bottom of the second. Leading it off for the Spartans is DeCessa. DeCessa playing in the shortstop position today. On the mound for Williams, McMenamin. And in the catching position, Whitney. The pitch from McMenamin fouled back along the Williams dugout. McMenamin gets the call from Whitney. Deep shot, high in the center field. And able to get under it, the center fielder out of Williams. We're in number 10, McLeish. Good job. So a fly out for DeCessa in her first at bat. Wall's the next batter up for the Spartans. Wall's playing in the second base position today. We're in 10. So 1 out, no on for the Spartans here in the bottom of the first. 0-0 score. Williams with 2 base hits, or rather 1 base hit and 1 walk. And 2 strikeouts for Crean Oviedo already. McMenamin delivers another high shot. And the shortstop out of Williams trying to get there. Got caught up by the turf monster. And it looked like it might have been coming to center field. That ball was up there high. Walsh will get to first on the error. Kelly there on the shortstop position, not able to get to it. So 1 on, 1 out for the Spartans, and Williams up to bat. Williams playing in the first base position. The pitch from McMenamin to Whitney, just a bit inside. Williams watches that one sail by and gets comments from the dugout on her ability to see balls and strikes. There she goes again. A little high. McMenamin gets the call from Whitney, and a solid cut there from Williams. Catches nothing but air. Williams awaits the next delivery from McMenamin. Whitney delivers. High ball. Sails out of possession for Whitney. It's going to result in stolen base for Walsh. So a good heads-up play by Walsh to recognize the wild pitch and get on the move. So 1 out, 1 on, now in scoring position for the Spartans. The pitch a little low and inside. That's going to result in ball 4. And Williams will take the walk. Next up to bat, Roma Braid, the catcher out of St. Mary's. The pitch, high and outside. Whitney gets the call to McMenamin. The delivery, and just a bit high. 3-0 count here, I believe, for Braid. And there's not much of a scoreboard here at Breed. They usually call balls and strikes. There's a lot I'm trying to pay attention to here. I guess tracking balls and strikes should be one of those things. But we'll do our best to keep you informed. 0-0 here, bottom of the first. 2 on for the Spartans, 1 in scoring position. Spartans with 1 base hit and 1 walk. Deep fly ball into left field. Gobbled up cleanly by the defense out of Archbishop Williams. And that'll hold all runners at bay. And a great heads-up play by Caruso out of Williams. 2 outs, 2 on for the Spartans. Braid flies out. Mahoney up to bat. Mahoney drives one into right field. Williams slow to gobble it up. That's going to send 1 home. Williams is going to be held up at third. And Walsh will score. So Walsh gets herself a run. Thanks to the bat speed of Mahoney. Morgan, the next batter up for the Spartans. So Spartans ahead of Williams here earlier on, 1-0. Two on, one in scoring position. Williams at third, hoping to be batted in. High shot there. Stolen base. Coming from number 9, and that number we're familiar with here around the Boston area, but here at Breed, that's Mahoney. Mahoney playing in the left field position. First stolen base of the game. Short, choppy ground ball over to the second baseman for the third out. So Morgan will go down swinging on the ground out, but not before St. Mary's can get a score. So at the end of 1, St. Mary's 1, Williams 0. Top of the second, leading off for Williams, Ian Atoja, wearing number 20, playing in the DP position today. First at bat for the kid. Crean Oviedo on the mound if you're just joining us, Braid behind the plate. 2 Ks so far for Crean Oviedo out of St. Mary's. Coming in strong. St. Mary's with the only run in this game. Mahoney on the RBI, batting in Walsh. There's a lot of action in the batter's box today for both teams. Crean Oviedo delivers to Braid, ball call there. Braid gets the call to Crean Oviedo, the delivery low and inside, ball. The pitch, swing fouled off along the third baseline. Ian Atoja looking to get all of that one, just gets a little on top of that ball. Keeps her alive for the next pitch from Crean Oviedo. The delivery, ground ball to the third baseman out of St. Mary's, first out of the second inning there. Good job by the St. Mary's third baseman. We're number 25, Napoli. So Ian Atoja grounds out. And Giglio, the next batter up for the Bishops. Giglio playing in the second base position today. First at bat of the day. Crean Oviedo delivers. Giglio swings hard and misses. Strike call. Braid gets the call to Crean Oviedo. The delivery just a bit outside. And Giglio says, "You're not going to catch me on that one." Braid gets the call. The delivery. And that one forces Giglio to move out of the way. The pitch gets a piece of that one. Third baseman steps up for the play, gets the out at first. Talk about being active. Napoli with 2 outs here in the top of the second. Putnam, the next batter up for the Bishops. Strike call from Crean Oviedo's first pitch to her. Putnam playing on the right field position, wearing 13 today. And Putnam had a short fly ball hit to her. Couldn't field it. It resulted in the first run for St. Mary's. Hit right in the right spot. Putnam awaits the call and the delivery. High fly ball along the third baseline. That one still might be in play. And the 3-out inning. 3 up, 3 down for Williams. And boy, howdy. Let's talk about Napoli out there. Making the moves, making it count. At the end of the top of the second, St. Mary's still leading 1-0 over Williams. We'll be back with the bottom of the second. Welcome back. Bottom of the second. First pitch for McMenamin fouled away. Souza, the batter, up for St. Mary's, her first at bat. And Souza playing in the right field position for the Spartans. The pitch for McMenamin a little outside. The pitch fouled away up off the backstop. 1-0 here in favor of the Spartans. McMenamin, the pitcher, on the mound today for Archbishop Williams. Whitney playing in the catching position. The pitch. A little low. Whitney not able to control it. No batters on. Takes her time to retrieve the ball and get that one back to McMenamin. Souza steps in, high fly ball, center fielder from Archbishop Williams comes all the way up to make the first out. So Souza goes down swinging, but gets a piece of it. McLeish, the center fielder, on the play. And a fly out for Souza. Napoli, the next batter up for the Spartans. Napoli takes a shot at that one, fouled off along the first baseline. And I think we got that. Did it hit him in the head?
I think so.
He's a tough guy over there. I'm gonna recruit him for next slap competition. Fly ball into center field. Gets a good piece of that one. On the move again. The center fielder out of Williams, making it happen. McLeish with the first 2 outs of the inning. And trying to follow suit from a third baseman, Napoli. So Napoli flies out in the same fashion Souza does. Owumi, the center fielder, the next batter up for the Spartans. First call strike. First at bat of the day for the center fielder out of St. Mary's. The pitch for McMenamin. Short, choppy ground ball to the second baseman. Couldn't field it cleanly. Sorry, shortstop out of Williams. And that error is going to result in a first base hit here in the bottom of the second. Owumi gets on first with a grounder. DeCessa back to the top of the lineup for the Spartans. Sessa takes that one high. Second at bat of the day for DeCessa. Shortstop out of St. Mary's gets a piece of that one, hits it into center field, and there's McLeish again on the final out. 3 up, 3 down. And what a second inning. 6 outs attributed to 2 players. At the end of 2, St. Mary's 1, Williams 0. And we're back. Top of the third. And leading off for Williams at the bottom of the lineup is Caruso. Caruso playing in the left field position. Her first at bat, showing bunt. Braid picks it up, throws it over to first for the first out. And stretch it out to make that out of St. Mary's, the first baseman, Williams. Williams receiving all the love on that one. Good heads-up play by Braid to get in front of it. Back to the top of the lineup for Williams. McMenamin, the pitcher, up to bat. Green Oviedo gets the call from Braid. Gets a strike call there. McMenamin awaits the pitch from Green Oviedo. The delivery just a bit outside. Williams standing a record of 6-4 overall. Their last game, a win over Bishop Fian, 10-2. Next game versus Braintree at home. Deep fly ball into left field. That one's got time and space to get back to the fence. Rounding first and going into second. She'll get held up there. And a great job by McMenamin to get on base. A ground out in her first. She had the bat speed to send that one all the way to the fence with a stand-up double. Kelly, the next batter up. One out, one on in scoring position for Williams. Braid comes out to put Green Oviedo at ease. And McMenamin happy to celebrate that one. Strike call on the first pitch to Kelly. Kelly playing in the shortstop position today for Williams. Got a single in her last at-bat off a ground ball over the St. Mary's shortstop. And DeSessa just couldn't get there in time for it. High fly ball. That one's going to stay fair. Left fielder coming up out of St. Mary's to make the out. That holds McMenamin up at second. And she ran about a mile to make up the difference on that one. Mahoney, the player on the out. So 2 outs here. A fly out for Kelly in her second at-bat. Parr, the next batter up for Williams. Strike call. Green Oviedo looking back to first to make sure McMenamin knows she's there. The pitch, another deep fly ball into center left. That one's got enough space, hits the back of the fence. Mahoney fields it. McMenamin rounds third, gets in for the first run for Archbishop Williams. The RBI is going to be attributed to Parr. And a lot of excitement. And they might have the number on Green Oviedo. So another stand-up double for Williams here in the top of the third. McLeish, the next batter up, gets a piece of that one. St. Mary's shortstop gobbles it up cleanly, tosses it over to first base for the third and final out of the inning. And a bit of a defensive struggle there for St. Mary's. They got caught up in a couple of long balls. At the end of the top of the third, we're all tied up 1-1. We'll be back with the bottom of the inning. Bottom of the third, leading it off for the Spartans, Walsh. Walsh playing in the second base position today for the Spartans. Her second at bat. Sneaks that one past the third baseman out of Williams for a stand-up single. Getting on to first base 2 times in a row is Walsh, the second baseman. And that one gets just past Parr, sneaking in to left field. Held up at first. Williams, the next batter up for the Spartans. A walk on her first at bat. Takes a piece of that one, fouls it up off the backstop. The pitch from McMenamin gets a solid piece of that one. High fly ball. It's going to stay in the infield. And the Williams shortstop quick to jump on it. Good heads-up play by Kelly to earn the first out of the inning for the Spartans. So Williams with a fly out in her second at bat. Braid, the catcher, up next for the Spartans. Braid awaits patiently for the delivery from McMenamin. And that one a little too high. So one out. One on at the first base position for the Spartans. 1-1 score. McMenamin's delivery. Braid catches a good piece of that one. It's got enough distance to get to the fence. Rolling around into third base for a slide-in double. Braid getting on base with some style there. So deep fly ball. Be on the heads up over there, Eswin. Mahoney, the next batter up for the Spartans. And that one sends Walsh all the way to third. So one out, two on, both in scoring position for the Spartans. A pinch runner coming on for St. Mary's. And we'll get a number on. I think we got 6. And Salona, the pinch runner. McMenamin's delivery a little bit outside. And Mahoney says, "No way, Jose." The pitch from McMenamin gets a piece of it. Second baseman not able to field it cleanly. And that one's going to get Mahoney to first. So one out, bases are loaded. Coach playing it safe with Walsh holding her up at third. Morgan, the DP, up to bat next. And Williams going to take some time. To talk this one out. And it was about the call at first. Whether or not if it was delivered early enough. And Mahoney gonna keep herself on the first base after the hit. Very close. Giglio, the second baseman there. Another shot. Fly ball just over Giglio's head. One's going to score for St. Mary's. And sliding in a second for the Spartans is Mahoney. So Morgan gets on. And first hit of the day from Morgan. So Walsh gets the second run for the team and herself today. 2-1, St. Mary's over Williams. One out, 3 on. Souza, the batter, gets a piece of that one right into center field. McLeish fields it. And thinking about going home, McLeish throws for the out. Too quick. St. Mary's scoring again. And that one going to go to Braid. So correction, 2 outs. After the fly out to McLeish. So sacrifice fly sends one home for the Spartans. Napoli, the next batter up for St. Mary's. The delivery, strike call. So 2 on for the Spartans. 1 in scoring position. That's Mahoney. Mahoney with 2 hits already. Second strike call. Napoli's second at bat of the day. Our first a ground out in the bottom. I'm sorry, a fly out in the bottom of the second. The delivery from McMenamin. 1-2 count. McMenamin gets the call from Whitney. The delivery. High. 2-2. Gets a piece of that one along the first baseline for a fly out and the final out of the inning. And St. Mary's able to tack 2 more runs onto the board. So as we approach the top of the 4th, St. Mary's leading 3-1. Top of the 4th, 3-1, St. Mary's over Williams. Whitney leading it off here for the Bishops. Whitney, a strikeout in her first at-bat, second at-bat of the day for the catcher out of Archbishop Williams. I'm sorry, the catcher out of Archbishop Williams. He got that one right today. Green Oviedo on the mound. Rumba Braid at the catching position. Low and inside to bit wild. Braid back to retrieve it. Strike call there. 1-1 count. High fly ball in the center field. Oumi quick to clean it up. First out of the inning. Oumi showing off the speed here in the top of the 4th. And Oumi will be leading it off for the Spartans. And their next at bat. So a fly out for Whitney. Ianatoja, second at bat of the day, playing in the DP position. The pitch from Green Oviedo, a little low. Ianatoja waiting patiently inside the box. Gets that pitch. Watches it sail by as it's low and inside. And I think we might have missed a run. Might have a 4-1 score here for St. Mary's. See if we can make that official for you. Green Oviedo's next pitch called strike. No, we're right. 3-1. Gets a piece of that one into center field. Oumi gets under it for the second out. Good heads-up play by Oumi. The pitch fouled off along the first baseline. Giglio, the batter up. Giglio playing in the second base position for Williams. A ground out in her first at bat. So 2 outs now on here for Williams. Green Oviedo delivers right where she wants it, gets the strike. Giglio gets a piece of that one, but a little bit under it. Fouled off along the backstop. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Third strikeout of the day for Oviedo and third out of the inning for Archbishop Williams. And as we go into the bottom of the fourth, St. Mary's still leading Williams 3-1. Welcome back. Bottom of the fourth, Aoumi leading it off for the Spartans. Aoumi with 2 solid outs. Last time she was in the field. Showing the speed off. Aoumi got on in her first at bat. Ground ball towards the second baseman, and an error resulted in her first hit. Or rather, her first time on base. Second at bat of the day for the center fielder out of St. Mary's. The pitch from McMenamin, high. McMenamin gets the call from Whitney. The delivery. Aoumi gets a piece of that one. Hits it over the shortstop's head. Goes into left field. She slides in a second for a double. And throws up the old Karate Kid praying mantis move. Hoo yeah, Aoumi. Next up to bat, top of the lineup for the St. Mary's Spartans, DeSessa. Stepping up to the plate. McMenamin delivers low. So no outs, 1 on in scoring position. DeSessa putting in the work right now against McMenamin. The pitch. Strike call. Whitney gets the call to McMenamin. She agrees. Throws it straight down the middle. Second strike. DeSessa struggling to get on base today. 2 flyouts in her first 2 at-bats. Her third of the day. Gets caught swinging. First strikeout of the day for McMenamin. So 1 out here for the Spartans. 1 on in scoring position. Williams, the next batter up for the Spartans. Williams with a walk in her first at-bat and a flyout in her last at-bat last inning. McMenamin gets the call from Whitney. The delivery, high fly ball just along the first baseline. Catcher Whitney comes up to make the play. Aoumi tags up at second, steals into third. So 2 outs here after the sac fly to get Aoumi to third. And a great heads-up play by Whitney. Come up and make the play from behind the plate. Williams, the next batter up for the Spartans. Takes a swing at that one, a little high. 0-1 count. Williams with a walk in her first at-bat, a flyout. I believe that's Williams. We should have number 22 up. Hits that one. Gets past the second baseman. Oumi's going to score. Four to 1 St. Mary's over Williams. And Williams going to get her first RBI of the day, as well as her first hit. So 2 outs, 1 on at first. Roma Braid to step up next. Well, looks, we might have a pinch hitter. Braid wearing 13. And yeah, we do have Braid. Doing things a little differently than what I'm used to. I've got a second monitor here to keep an eye on Eswin's work. And I think it's getting me to guess a little bit more than I'm used to. McMenamin delivers that one deep into left field. Braid's going to get to first. A stand-up single in her last at-bat. And Braid cranking them today. Williams advances to second as Mahoney steps up to the plate. Mahoney with 2 singles so far in this game, her third at-bat of the day. McMenamin delivers. Mahoney gets a piece of that one. Looks like it's going to stay fair. And St. Mary's going to tack one more onto the board as Williams scores. So Mahoney gets her second RBI of the day. St. Mary's with 2 outs, 1 in scoring position, 1 at the first base. Souza, the batter, gets a piece of that one, fouls it off along the first baseline over the Archbishop Williams dugout. Morgan in the DP position today. Single in her last at-bat. Gets a piece of that one along the first baseline, goes foul, so 2 strikes. McMenamin trying to get out of this inning here. High and away. Two and 2 count. Hits that one deep into left field. That's going to send one home. Braid getting up to third. Going to be held up there. A stand-up double from Morgan. Earns herself an RBI. And that brings it to 6-1. Souza, the next batter up for the Spartans. Her third at bat of the day. 2 flyouts on her first attempts. So they might have brought in Salona again as a pinch runner for Mahoney. She was the pinch runner last time. I'll try to get a number on the player at third base for you, so we know. Not yet. Gets a shot on that one, deep into center field. That one's got enough time and space to get out. That's a home run, first of the day. Rounding the bases, making it happen. In her third at bat, Souza with a homer. Brings in 2 more runs, as well as her own. And everybody with the blue and gold on is celebrating right now. So while we got this time, as the Williams coaching staff comes out and talks it over with McMenamin, I want to say thanks to our viewership for tuning in. If you're watching Lynn Educational Television on our YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell for all the up-to-date sports and events happening here in the Lynn Public Schools. I'm your commentator. Tonight, Sean Donahue. We got Eswin from Classical up in the perch, bringing you these smooth and steady shots. Thank you to our Comcast and Verizon subscribers. Without you, we wouldn't be able to provide a curriculum to our student base here in the Lynn Public Schools. So thank you. Souza with the home on Napoli with a tough act to follow after that one. Napoli with 2 flyouts in her last at-bats. But that's the same way Souza came up. Knocked in a 3-run homer. Napoli not going to swing at that one. The pitch from McMenamin. Napoli gets a little bit more at the top of that ball than she wanted. Napoli playing in a third base position today. Had a 3-out inning in the second. McMenamin delivers high fly ball, and everybody's coming in on it. A little bit of confusion there from the Williams defense on whether or not they could get it. Sliding in a second, called out. Good heads-up play to make the adjustment, and great placement there by the second baseman out of Archbishop Williams, Giglio, to make the play for the 3rd out of the inning. But not after St. Mary's tacks on a plethora of runs. So, as we approach the 5th, St. Mary's putting the work on Archbishop Williams. 9-1 here as we go into the 5th inning. We'll be back after this break. Green Oviedo still on the mound. 3 strikeouts for the day for the Spartan. Stepping up to the plate, second time today, Putnam. Putnam playing in the right field position for Archbishop Williams. A fly out in her first at-bat. Braid the catcher for the Spartans. Strike call there. And if you're just joining us, in the bottom of the 4th, the Spartans went off, put the works on Archbishop Williams. 6 runs earned in the 4th. 9-1 score right here. 4th strikeout of the day for Green Oviedo. So Putnam goes down swinging as Caruso steps up to the plate next. Caruso with a ground out in her last at-bat. Green Oviedo gets the call from Braid, the delivery. Gets a piece of that one fouled off along the backstop. Caruso playing in the left field position today for Archbishop Williams. And the way the inning ended last for the Spartans after a double or an attempt to take second base on a high fly ball that 3 Williams defenders tried to get under and nobody gathered on the catch. They were able to make up the difference and throw her out at second on the attempt to get there. So ended what I think is a little prematurely. St. Mary's really putting the works on Williams in that last one. Here we are, top of the 5th. Williams with a solid hole to dig themselves out of. Green Oviedo delivers, fouls that one off. Caruso lives for another day. Green Oviedo gets the call from Braid, the delivery. Fouls that one. Shallow along the third baseline, picking it up, throwing her out at first. Good heads-up play by the Spartans during the 2nd out of the inning. And Caruso goes down with a ground out. And boy, howdy, what an effort by the third baseman out of St. Mary's. Wearing number 25, Napoli, to get on that one and then make the throw over to Williams for the second out of the inning. Williams got some flexibility to her. First pitch called ball. McMenamin, the pitcher, up. McMenamin had a rocket in her last at-bat. Earned herself a stand-up single. Green Oviedo gets the call from Braid. McMenamin awaits the pitch, the delivery, strike. McMenamin gets a piece of that one, sneaks past the third baseman out of St. Mary's and rolls into left field. Trying to get thrown out at second, McMenamin slides in for a second hit of the day. Her second double of the day. So that one hit a little bit too fast for Napoli to get there. Luckily, Mahoney was able to come up and gather it and throw it into second to hold McMenamin there. Kelly, next batter up for Williams. First pitch called ball. 2 outs here for the Bishops. 1 on in scoring position after the double from McMenamin. Playing in the pitching position, Kelly up at bat for the Bishops now. Kelly takes a strike there. Green Oviedo with the delivery, low and outside. Green Oviedo delivers a little outside, taking a walk there. This is Kelly. And Kelly commended on her ability to see balls and strikes. Second walk of the day for Green Oviedo. 4 strikeouts here as St. Mary's boasts an 8-run lead. Braid coming out to talk it up with Green Oviedo. Maybe noticing her getting a little sloppy as the game goes on. Or maybe there's some gossip she forgot to tell her before the game. But we'll take the time to say thanks to our viewership. If you're watching our YouTube page here at Lynn Educational Television, please like, subscribe, smash that notification bell for all the up-to-date sports and events happening right here in the city of Lynn. I'm your commentator tonight from Lynn Educational Television, Sean Donahue. We got Eswin from Classical up the perch, bringing these smooth and steady shots. Parr, the next batter, up for Williams. 2 outs, 2 on, 1 in scoring position for the Bishops. Parr with a double in her last at-bat, also with a rocket. Check swing, still gets a piece of it, fouls it off along the first baseline. And Parr hoping to bat in some of these players. Show and bunt. Pulls back, takes a shot, and hit like a bunt. Thrown over to first, fielded by Green Oviedo for the 3rd out. And St. Mary's holds Williams to 0. And as we approach the bottom of the 5th, St. Mary's boasting a 9-1 lead over their CCL rival. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back. Bottom of the 5th, and we're starting out this one for St. Mary's the same way we did last inning. Oomi up to bat for the Spartans, and a pitching change. Parr coming in from the 3rd base position to relieve McMenamin. McMenamin will switch over to 3rd. Gets a shot. Hits that one over to the shortstop. And it falls just in time to delay the throw. Owumi gets on to base for the third time today. So a single in her first at-bat and a double after a rocket in her second at-bat. Next up for the Spartans, we're heading to the top of the lineup. DeCessa up to bat next. DeCessa struggling to get on base. A couple flyouts and a strikeout in her last at-bat. Hoping to find redemption here against the reliever, Parr. Parr coming from the third base position. Step up onto the mound and relieve McMenamin. McMenamin now playing in the third base position. The pitch, short, choppy ground ball along the third baseline. That one's going to fall foul. Owumi heading back to first. DeCessa awaits the pitch from Parr. Takes a cut at that one and misses all of it. Whitney's still behind the plate for the Bishops tonight. Doing a great job catching. The pitch, another one. Catches her swinging and looking. First strikeout of the day for Archbishop Williams. Second strikeout of the day. First strikeout of the day for Parr. So DeCessa goes down swinging. And Owumi stealing into second. So one out. One on in scoring position after the base hit and steal from Owumi. Walsh, the next batter up for the Spartans. Waits the pitch from Parr. Takes a cut at that one. Strike call. Parr delivers that one high and away. Whitney gets the call. Parr with the delivery low. And Walsh says, I don't want any part of that one. Walsh with 2 singles tonight. A fly out in her last at-bat. Earned herself 2 runs. That one just a bit outside. Walsh says, give me something a little closer. Parr gets the call from Whitney, the delivery. Strike call there. And it looks like we got another pinch. Got a substitution here for the Spartans. And I'll try to get you a number. I got 40 here. And Pelletier, the batter up. So Pelletier batting in position of Walsh. And Pelletier goes down swinging. Third strikeout of the day. Second for Parr today. Williams, the batter up high, says, I'm not going after that one. So 2 outs, 1 on in scoring position for the Spartans. A 6-run inning, last inning for the Spartans. Just a bit inside, but not far enough inside to not get a strike. Williams gets caught looking at that one. A single in her last at-bat. The delivery from Parr, that one high fly ball, falls into a pocket. The center fielder, McLeish, coming up to make the play. And thankfully for Bishop Williams, Archbishop Williams, she was able to get there. That one's going to hold Owumi up at first. And Williams is going to get into second. So stand-up double for Williams. McLeish reluctant to try to throw her out. And holding Owumi up at third. Might have been a better call. Braid should be the batter up as we see a deficit like we do. Sometimes we see some pinch hitters, some pinch runners coming in. But we got Braid up at bat, the catcher for St. Mary's. So 2 outs, 2 on, both in scoring position. Braid with a single in her last at-bat, a double after a rocket in the third, and a flyout in her first at-bat. Braid hoping to bat in Owumi. And maybe while she's at it, even Williams. Williams playing in the first base position. Kid's got some stretch on her. Braid watches that one sail past for ball 4 and walks her way over to first base. So now loaded bases is what Parr's looking at here in the bottom of the 5th. So it looks like they're gonna bring in a pinch runner for Braid. And Salona gonna be the pinch runner for Braid. Coach Connor is coming out to talk to Parr and the infield about how we're going to get out of this inning. We definitely don't want to see what we saw in the last attempt. St. Mary's running away with it, adding 6 more runs to the tally. Parr coming in to relieve McMenamin this inning. Mahoney, the next batter up. Mahoney's first swing and a miss. 0-1 call. Mahoney with 3 singles today. She's been able to get on base and make contact. 0-2 call. 2 outs. Bases are loaded for St. Mary's. 1 run this inning. Takes a short, choppy shot at it. Third baseman out of Archbishop Williams. McMenamin going to field it, make the tag herself. That'll be the final out of the inning. St. Mary is able to add 1 more to the tally to make the score 10-1. We'll be back with the top of the 6th. Welcome back, top of the 6th. Leading off for Archbishop Williams, McLeish, the center fielder. McLeish was a strikeout in her first at bat, a ground out in her last. Her 3rd of the day today. Green Oviedo starting it off on the mound, still there. Braid catching. Strike call. Green Oviedo gets the call from Braid. Takes a shot. Takes a swing at that one, misses it low and away. Green Oviedo gets the pitch fouled off along the 3rd baseline. Double check your pan lock, all right? It might be why it's bumping. McLeish steps up to the plate. Green Oviedo gets the call from Braid, the delivery. Takes a shot there. Green Oviedo fields it and gets it over to first base for the first out. So McLeish grounds out in her 3rd at bat. Whitney, the catcher, up next for Archbishop Williams. Green Oviedo delivers, strike call, 0-1. And a bit of a correction. Actually, a 9-1 score after the last one. I had just assumed Dowumi was able to get in. But as we think back to it, she got held up at third base after the heads-up play by McLeish to throw home and keep her there. So a scoreless inning in the fifth for St. Mary's. 9-1 score here against Archbishop Williams. Whitney steps into the batter's box, waits patiently for the delivery from Green Oviedo, and gets complimented on her ability to see balls and strikes. She doesn't swing on that one. Whitney takes the fourth ball and will stroll it on down to first base. Green Oviedo with 4 strikeouts today. And she's got to be up there in the pitch count. Williams certainly making her work there at the mound. And Game Changer has 88 pitches now. So 88 pitches for Green Oviedo at this point. The pitch, strike, and she might have heard me. Said, see, I still got some steam in me. Don't count me out now. Oviedo, one of those players that takes a lot of pride in being able to start and finish her games. Strike 2. Iana Toja, the DP position player for Williams, up to bat for her 3rd time today. Pitch there. Roma Braid steps up, shows a throw over to first, and says, Whitney, you better get back into position because I could throw this ball very quickly. And you've seen how flexible our first baseman is. So you don't want this. Strike 3. 5th of the day for Green Oviedo. Having herself a day on the mound. And having herself a day at bat, too. A single in her first, a double in her second, and a single in the last inning. Stole second base. Something to celebrate here against the CCL rival. Giglio, next batter up. Hits that one almost into the position, almost in the second baseman's glove. Giglio gets on after the error. And first time she's been on base today. So 2 outs, 2 on for Archbishop Williams, 1 in scoring position. As Putnam steps up to the plate. Putnam watches that one sail back past for ball 1. The pitch from Green Oviedo, 1-1. Putnam says not today, 2-1. The pitch from Green Oviedo. Putnam gets a piece of that one. Sneaks past by the St. Mary's shortstop. That's going to be one that scores. Williams able to make it happen and get more points on the board here in the top of the 6th. Still looking at a 7-run deficit, but a good start. Putnam able to get on base for the first time today after the error from the St. Mary's shortstop. And that one's going to go to DeCessa. DeCessa having herself a pretty decent game today, defensively and offensively. St. Mary's coach going to come in to talk it up with the infield and make some adjustments for Crean Oviedo. Whether that'll be a substitution or a few tips, we're not sure. Looks like they're going to stick with her. Braid talking a little bit of smack on the way back to the plate. These two have been playing together for a while. They got quite the rapport. It's always exciting to see the bond that baseball brings. Caruso, the batter up, gets a piece of that one, fouls it off along the first baseline. Caruso playing in the left field position today for Williams. 2 groundouts in her first 2 at-bats. This is her 3rd of the day. Braid trying to pick off the runner at first. Safe call there. And whether it was an attempt to actually throw her out or a message to stay on base, we're not sure. But it was a close one. Caruso waits patiently in the batter's box for the delivery from Oviedo. The pitch, right where she wants it, earns herself her 6th strikeout of the day. Crean Oviedo making it count here in the top of the 6th. Williams able to tack one more on. So as we approach the bottom of the inning, St. Mary's still leading 9 now to Williams 2. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back. Bottom of the 2nd. Stepping up to the plate is going to be Bergeron. Bergeron's first at-bat of the day. And I believe she'll be pinch hitting in place of Morgan. Parr still on the mound. Came in last inning. And got herself to 3 strikeouts. Deep fly ball into center right field. She's going to round first and head into second. She'll have a stand-up double in her first at bat. And the St. Mary's bench is going wild for it. Bergeron coming off of the bench and making it happen with a stand-up double in her first at bat. Next up on the lineup, I think we're supposed to have Napoli. I could be wrong about that one. And Mahoney. Sorry. Souza, the batter up next. Souza hits that one, fielded cleanly, but no attempt to throw her out at first. We'll walk her way on over to first after the next hit. So Souza with a home run, hit herself a 3-run homer, comes into this one, gets herself a single, and has so much respect they don't even attempt to throw her out. Napoli, the next batter up for the Spartans. The delivery from Parr fouls that one off along the backstop. And we might have another pinch hitter here for the Spartans. Parr in the lineup, but up at the plate, wearing number 5 is Pimentel. Pimentel. Pimentel gets a piece of that one. Looks like it's going to stay infield. First baseman comes up to make the fly out call, and that's exactly what happens. Pimentel goes down swinging, but gets a piece of it before she does. So that's the first out of the inning for St. Mary's. One on in scoring position. Swing and a miss. Up at the plate, Owumi Oumi batting 1,000 today. Had a single on her first at bat, a rocket with a stand-up double on her second at bat, and a ground ball single in her last. So I'm not. So yeah, then we got 1 out, 2 on for the Spartans. Ground ball hit over to the third baseman. Got to try to force the out at first. Abandoned the tag. Couldn't get it there in time. And now St. Mary's looking at a 1-out inning with 3 on. What did she? She was able to make the tag. Okay, that makes sense. There we go. So 2 outs. And Bergeron gets tagged out at third on the attempt. So 2 on, 2 outs for the Spartans. 1 in scoring position. DeCessa, the batter, up next. 4th of the day for DeCessa. Gets a piece of that one. Hits the batter on the fly. And that'll be an out. Oumi, on her way to second, gets hit with the pitch. The out happens in DeCessa's last at bat. And St. Mary's not able to drive in anything there. Another scoreless inning. And at the end of 6, as we head into the 7th, St. Mary's 9, Archbishop Williams 2. Top of the 7th, we're back. St. Mary's 9-2 over Williams here. CCL matchup, St. Mary's with a record right now of 5-4 overall. Last game versus Gloucester, a victory. Their next game here at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon versus Fenwick. Williams right now with a record of 6-4 overall. Their last game, a victory over Bishop Fian, 10-2. And then the next game is going to be against Braintree at home. New pitcher on the mound here. Newberry coming in to relieve Green Oviedo. Green Oviedo with 6 strikeouts on the day. And the kid killed it offensively as well. It was good to see Green Oviedo come in, batting 1,000 on the day, earned herself a run. She's in the lineup for player of the day. The pitch from Newberry a little bit outside. Newberry delivers to Braid, gets a strike call she wanted there. 2-1. Gets a piece of that one into center field and fielded nicely by number 9 out of St. Mary's. And a bit of a switch up on the field defensively, who we're used to seeing Oumi out there. Mahoney stepping in to center field. I wonder if that has anything to do with the ground ball that hit Oumi in the ankle. So no outs, 1 on. McMenamin gets on first. Kelly steps up to the plate. Kelly a single in her first at bat, a fly out in her second, and a walk last at bat. Her 4th of the day today. Kelly playing in the shortstop position for Archbishop Williams. Newberry throws it down the middle, caught swinging. Kelly thinking she'd get a piece of that one and walks away empty-handed. Newberry with the pitch. Braid's got to step up to keep that one from hitting the ump. Green Oviedo pitching from start all the way to the bottom of the 6th. I'm sorry, top of the 6th. Newberry coming in to make the relief. Fouls that one off along the backstop. So Solona in center field now for Omi. Fouls that one off along the first base line. St. Mary's trying to keep it in fair play. 2-2 count here for Kelly. Sorry. 2-3 count for Kelly. Kelly goes down on the strikeout. We had a pass ball. Her attempt to get to first failed. Parr, the batter up. 2-0. One out here for Williams in the top of the seventh. St. Mary's with a 9-2 lead over their CCL rival. The pitch to Braid, strike call there. 2-1. Hits that one, gets a good piece of it, hitting the left field, and may have lost sight of that one. Trying to throw it in. One will score for Archbishop Williams. Well, what I thought was one that would score. So Mahoney losing sight of that one in the air. Could have been the second out, but as that sun goes down, things get a little tougher. So no runs on that long fly ball to left field. McLeish, the center fielder, up to bat next. So both base runners will advance on the error. One out, two in scoring position for Williams, 7-run deficit. High fly ball, shortstop losing track of that one. And now one will score. And they're able to throw in to Braid to try to hold up the base runner at third. So Williams adds another run to the tally, 9-3 St. Mary's over Williams. McMenamin going to advance on the run. She'll earn herself a run today. Whitney, the catcher, up to bat next for Archbishop Williams. So 2 on, 1 in scoring position, ground ball along the first baseline. That one rolls out of bounds. The pitch, a little wild. Braid retreats to grab it, and that's going to hold Parr up at third. McLeish advances to second on the steal, so now 2 on in scoring position. 1 out for Archbishop Williams. The pitch just a bit outside. And Newberry gets the call from Braid. Says, okay, let's try that one. Throws it down, catches her swinging for another strikeout. Newberry with her first strikeout on the day as she comes in to relieve Green Oviedo. So Whitney goes down swinging, 2 outs for the Bishops. Newberry with the pitch, gets a ball call there. And another strike. Delivered with some authority by Newberry. 1-1 count here. 2 outs, 2 on for the Bishops. Able to add one more run this inning. And Newberry serving up another strike. 1-2 count. 2 outs. Newberry, the reliever for Crean Oviedo. Deep fly ball in the center field. That one's going to be hit out. Hit right over our heads here. And that's going to be a 3-run dinger for Ian Tosca. Ian Tosca hits the second home run of the game, driving in 3 more runs. Trying to give their fans a worthwhile for their ticket. Get yourself a 3-run homer, and that brings Archbishop Williams within 3 runs now. So 4-run inning here. And after a shot like that, that went directly over us here at center field. I don't know much about measurements. You can ask my geometry teacher, or teachers. Everybody tried. But that's going to be one of the furthest home runs I've seen hit here. Ian Toja coming in and setting up Giglio to try to start it all over again. Giglio was single in her last at bat. 1 for 3 today. And a 3-run shot gives some life to Archbishop Williams. The pitch, low and away. Two and 0 count. Call it 3-0. And we were 1 strike away before that deep home run. Delivered up by Ian Toja. Three and 0 count. 2 outs, no on for Archbishop Williams. The pitch, right where she wants it. Newberry with almost 30 pitches already in her first inning pitching. The pitch, ball 4. Giglio going to take her base after the walk. Putnam, the next batter up for Archbishop Williams. And if Putnam can be on, she'll be the tying run. 2 outs. 0-1 count. Newberry with 1 strikeout so far. Can she finish on a K? Little low, 1-1 count. Newberry gets the call from Braid. Throws it up top for another ball. Newberry delivers strike. Hits that one in the left field. Right field. St. Mary's right fielder able to come up and gobble that one up for the final out. And everybody could breathe a little bit easier. And St. Mary's able to walk away with a victory. They're going to improve to a record of 6-4. Final score of the game, 9-6, St. Mary's over Archbishop Williams. And Williams coming in the final inning and trying to make a run at it, but cut short by Newberry and the St. Mary's right fielder. So we want to give a good heads-up play to Souza to come in and make that final out. At the end of this one, St. Mary's going to improve their record. Their next game is going to be against Bishop Fenwick here on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Williams going to fall to a record of 6-5. They'll be playing Braintree at home this Friday. I want to say thanks to my crew from Classical. We got Eswin up in the perch today, working on the solo, all 7 innings, or 6.5. We don't want to give you more credit than you're owed. Your commentator, Sean Donahue from Lynn Educational Television, thanking you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, smash that notification bell for all the up-to-date sports and events happening right here in the city of Lynn. From the field here at Breed, I'm Sean Donahue wishing you all the best.